People, my name is Lior Israel, and I will be doing this live today on behalf of the Purposely Awakened magazine. I hope that you all are doing good because I'm feeling so good. I guess that really don't affect y'all, but I just hope that you all are doing well. Today we'll be joined by Emir Horton. He is the CEO of Eartha Watches. I'm so excited to be able to talk to him and figure out where his motivation came from, what inspired him, what made him want to start this collection of watches. I am very excited to talk to him. I hope that you all are doing well. Like I said before, I miss you guys so much. How are you guys feeling today? I know that everybody is basically getting off work right now. So I appreciate you all for watching. And it looks like Mr. Horton has joined us. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and invite him. Give me just a moment. Oh,
Hey, how are you?
how, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. My name is Lior Israel, and I will be doing this live today on behalf of the Purposely Awakened magazine. How are you, Amir?
I'm good. I'm well. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be alive, happy to be on the platform. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. We are so honored to have you. So, can you just start by please telling us about yourself and what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Emir Horton. So Emir. I get Amir all the time. Emir, it's okay. Yeah, I get that all the time. Born and raised in Philadelphia, but I currently live in Los Angeles. I've been living here for going on 3 years now. um, Pursuing my career, working in the entertainment industry as an actor and television producer. And also the CEO and founder of Eartha Watch Company, which is a new luxury watch brand for both men and women. And we founded last year in the middle of a pandemic on September 1st.
Yes.
Yeah, we here, we still making things happen and changing the impact of lives. So
Absolutely. I love it. So, what even inspired you to become an entrepreneur and what sparked your interest in watches?
yeah, so I actually, before I realized I had the entrepreneurial spirit, it kind of was just this thing that it was always in me since a kid. Like I was in middle school, burning CDs and selling them at school back when this platform called LimeWire was a thing. My
Mm-hmm.
stepdad worked at a pharmacy. You remember LimeWire?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would burn CDs off of LimeWire, sell them at school for like $10, have my friends and people, classmates send me a list of songs they want, go home, put them on a CD. I was selling them at my stepdad's pharmacy store, I was always hustling, and being in Philly, it teaches you that hustle mentality. So when I got here, pursuing the entertainment career, I found myself sitting on the curb with nowhere to go because I literally just up and left Philly to move here after I
Mm-hmm.
graduated college. So, thinking about those hard moments of being homeless and going from house to house and sleeping on friends' couches, and still trying to establish myself in the entertainment industry, I said, I can't rely on the entertainment industry to keep money in my pockets. I need to think of something else while I'm out here. And what I realized in that moment too, which was that I wasn't fully maximizing my time while I was out here. I was all over the place. I was in that survival mode mentality, which I realized was holding me back from a lot of things. So I said, let me maximize my time in this moment. So I started thinking about all the things that I was interested in, all of my skills and talents, and then watches came to mind. And I've been in a watches since I was a teenager. And, I had this dream growing up that when I become a household name in the entertainment industry, that I would design watches for Rolex or AP or something and have like the Emir collection. And I said, you know what, instead of doing that and making them richer and, using them, let me go ahead and design my own quote unquote Rolex. So that's what I did. And that idea came to me in March of 2019. And, just learning a lot about business and what it really means to be an entrepreneur, learning about watches in the industry, and just finding ways on how I can make myself stand out in the brand. So that's kind of how we got here.
Absolutely. That is beautiful. I love that. So can you tell me what made you feel like you needed to make such an immediate decision in terms of you moving?
The struggle.
Yeah.
Like it was a struggle. I'm like, because I struggled in college. I attended Delaware State University.
Mhm.
My mom did the best that she could when raising myself and my sisters, but we didn't always have a silver spoon in our mouth. There was times where the lights got cut off. There were times where we had to boil water on a hot plate because the gas was off. And I just got tired of that. I got tired of living in poverty. I was tired of being broke and living in the struggle. And I said,
Right.
something's got to give here. And I'm like, I'm in this city that is full of opportunities, Los Angeles. I know I came here for a purpose, and I need to just
Yes.
continue to do something that will allow me to stay here because people move here, they be gone for a month later because it's so expensive to live here. It's
Mhm.
60,000 plus people who are homeless out here, and it's a land full of opportunity, a city full of opportunity. So I said, you know
Mhm.
what, enough is enough. I'm tired of living in this struggle. I'm not going back home, so we need to figure something out. And so that's kind of how I flipped the mentality and was like, I need to do something because I'm not trying to go back home to my mom's house.
Absolutely. I hear that. And now, before we get really into the watches, I wanted to ask because you do talk about, living in Los Angeles where there is so much opportunity. How did you, I guess, get to this place, or how do you make yourself stand out from everybody else so that it's not you becoming one of these statistics that go to Los Angeles and then they're leaving, like you said, a month later?
Yeah. One thing that helps me stand out is just really one is my faith. If it wasn't for my faith, I would not be in this city. I tell that to everyone because it's
Mhm.
not me, it is God 100%. There's some of these things I'll be doing, and I'm like, yo, like, how did I even get here? And then the
Mhm.
second thing is just really just being authentic and understanding that, what's me is for me. No one's going to take that away. And really just continue to navigate and move through that and really just fully tap into my purpose. Because I know if I'm in my purpose, then I'm not going to drift. I'm not going to be worrying. I'm not going to be concerned about having money in my pocket, and I'm not going to
Mhm.
be worrying about what the other person is doing. The entertainment
Right.
industry, especially as an actor, is a lot of competition. So I just try to remain grounded in the word that God told me when I was 14 years old that I would be in this industry and soaring as an actor and now a television producer as well. And just remaining in that just helps me to block out all of the background noise and just staying focused on my lane.
Got you. I like that. I like that. So tell me, I hope I'm saying it right. Is it Eartha Watches?
Yes, yes,
Okay, perfect. What inspired you to come up with this name? Where did that come from?
yeah. So the name Eartha is actually my grandmother's name. It was
Not
the she's still alive and well. So she got her Eartha watch over the holiday. And
yeah.
it was, yeah, it was a dope feeling too to watch her put it on her wrist, and she was like, "Oh, I got a new watch, and it got my name on it." Then she showed it to the camera like that, and like this is dope. This is what I wanted. So I called it the name that first came. That was in. Uh, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Eartha was the name, the first name and the only name that came to my head. I'm like, I think it sounds cool. Somebody say, what kind of watches that you have on? They say, oh, this is an Eartha watch. So, I
Mhm.
called my grandma up. I said, hey, I want to name this company. I want to build some watches. I want to build my own company. I want to call it Eartha. Of course, she was surprised and humbled about it. And I said,
Mhm.
I want you to kind of be the face to be the face of the company. And she was
Mhm.
like, no, this is your thing. You go ahead and do what you got to do and what God called you to do with the company. And that's one of the best things that I love about my grandmom is that she wants everybody to shine in their own light, and she really just
Mhm.
wants you to be the best version of yourself. And that's what I want this company to stand for too. So that's kind of how the name came about and what it stands for.
Very dope. Very dope. Okay. So I know that you have a BA in mass communication.
Yep.
Now, what would you say play more of a role in your current success, your learned skills or your determination?
Ooh, it is definitely my determination. It's definitely my determination. I went to school at Delaware State University.
Mm-hmm.
Delaware State University it's a university in a small section of Delaware, Dover, Delaware. Delaware is, is climbing up the ranks now. There's a lot of successful people that's coming out of Delaware, but at Delaware State University, the majority of the courses I was taking was primarily focused in journalism and news. I knew I wanted to be on camera. I knew I wanted to be behind the camera, but not necessarily as a journalist or a news anchor or like a news reporter. So,
Right.
I took advantage of it. I had an interest in it, but I knew like long term at the time, that's not something that I fully wanted to take off with. So,
Mm-hmm.
I had this vision that I was going to be successful as an actor at 14 years old, trying to figure it out. Somehow landed myself in Delaware State University, learned about what this thing called internships is about. And I said, you know what? I need to get to LA. I need to get an
Yeah.
internship somehow in Los Angeles. That's where I need to be. So,
Mm-hmm.
trying to, network in Delaware, I ended up meeting my supervisor at this store called Big Lots that I love to death. She was driving me home one night after our shift, and she was like, you're going to school, but what is it that you really want to do? So I want to work in Hollywood. I want to go to Los Angeles. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I have a friend who I went to high school with. He's a producer at the NFL Network. Maybe I could connect y'all. I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. But I kept following up with her. She kept forgetting. I said, you know what? It's the summer coming up. I need an internship because the only way I can go to LA is if it's during the summer because of courses. I said, what is this man's name? Give me his first and last name. So she gave me his
Mm-hmm.
name. I looked him up on LinkedIn. He was willing to get me in the door, but I was like a few days late. So he was like,
Mm-hmm.
keep in contact with me till next year. We'll try to get you in. Sure enough, that's what I did. Contacted him that in February of
Mm-hmm.
2017. Got the interview in March. They gave me the offer the next day, and that's how I ended up here. And that opportunity was just full of exposure. It was my first time in Los Angeles, spending the entire summer here,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the studio lots, going to Hollywood parties, and that whole fast lane, glitz and glamour, all that
Yeah.
type of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you
Uh-huh.
know what, this is where I need to be. So if it wasn't for my determination,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be here at all because as far as the education, I didn't really have a mentor too much in my life showing me the ropes of how to navigate Hollywood. My professors did the best they could in college, but they didn't fully understand what was in me and where I was trying to go. So it was like, I need to just figure this thing out and get out here. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely my determination more than my education.
Absolutely understood. And so, because your degree is in communication, I have to ask because I know this is something that a lot of people tend to struggle with when they start their businesses. But how were you able to persuade those who are a part of your team to see your vision?
Well, one, I fully believe on collaborative effort. I'm always open to new ideas, and those who work with me, whether it's temporary basis or not, I'm like, tell me what you're thinking. Let's help grow this thing together. Because I don't look at it as just my company. Yes, I'm the face of it, but this company has so much to offer. It's impacting lives. It's paying, some people who work with me on temporary basis. And I just try to continue to have them pour into me while I also pour into the company and pour into them as well. So I'm
Mhm.
always open to having people on my team if they're the right fit, if they can actually see the vision, and just always just try to combine our heads together to make things come to fruition.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, um, where was I at? Okay, yes, I'm so sorry. So, what do you feel is required of someone who has little to nothing, but they want to accomplish having their own successful business?
I would say use what you have. It might be little to nothing, but it's enough to get started.
Yeah.
Don't sleep. Don't. And I made a post about this around New Year's about utilizing what's in your inventory, not just in business, but literally your inventory, the wisdom, the
Mhm.
resources that you do have that you're sleeping on. Utilize that and leverage it. It's because one thing you leverage one thing is going to lead to the next thing and continue to build and so forth. So really just reflect, be self-aware of all that you have in your hand, and just maximize it to your fullest capacity.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
perfect. All right. So, what would you say was your greatest challenge to begin with when you first started Eartha Watches, and what would you say is your greatest challenge now?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge, of course, was the lack of funding. Um, it's not cheap. Like it cost me a couple $1,000s to launch this business, and that's not just with the product itself. That's like forming an LLC, paying for an attorney to because I messed up on my legal stuff because I didn't have the background knowledge. I
Mhm.
did as much education as I could on the legal stuff, but investing into that to that attorney, that costs a pretty penny to make sure that you're covered and legal, and legitimate. So that was the biggest challenge. It was a lot of money I had to save, a lot of eatless nights, drunk water for dinner.
Wow.
So that the money definitely. Right
Yeah.
now, the biggest challenge, of course, is we're in a pandemic. Too many people aren't really purchasing too much. I sell watches, and because we're all in quarantine, people aren't really going out like they used to. That
Right.
requires them to get dressed up. So still thinking of creative ways to make sure that we remain the relevancy that we do have that on a consistent basis, and just continue to connect with our community and be in the community and serve our customers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely understand. And so one of my questions was going to be, did you still, because I didn't know that you were acting. So I was going to
Mhm.
ask, well, do you still aspire to be an actor? But since I know that you are acting and producing, what would you say you feel most comfortable with? Do you feel most comfortable on the scene or behind the scenes?
That's a ooh, that's a that's a good question because I love both. I love both. I would say like acting, none of this I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for my acting career. And I say that
Mhm.
because it was the acting that led me to Los Angeles. It was Los Angeles that led me to launching a watch company. And it was
Mhm.
acting also that made me want to just have more power as far as producing my own content and want to have a production company and really birthing that entrepreneurial spirit. So, but as far as produce, it's kind of hard because I really enjoy doing both. Like I say, my passion is not in acting, is not in really television. It's really just creating and building.
Yeah.
Like that's what I love to do. So to be
Mhm.
able to see a vision that starts from a small idea and then see that manifested into something on screen, whether I'm on the camera or not, is just a very fulfilling feeling to me. So
Yeah.
I really love both. It goes hand in hand. I can't choose just one.
Absolutely. I can understand that. That makes sense. And so we did have a viewer ask though, how much quality time do you give yourself for self-care, interest, activities, and time for family and friends?
Yeah, so I just set like a kind of a standard specifically for the month of February.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I'm trying not to clock out after 3 o'clock in the morning because I will literally work. Yes. I would literally work all day and
Mm-hmm.
it's just out of control. So I'm like, we need to create a new rhythm here and get this together. So I am becoming more intentional with my self care, reflecting, meditating. I try when I wake up in the morning. I'm trying not to pick up my phone, to go straight to my emails and social media. Turn on my worship music playlist, meditate, pray at least for an hour, and then go
Yeah.
on and start my day. I always feel grounded when I'm around huge bodies of water, so I kind of always gravitate to the beach and just sit there by the ocean or whatever to get myself together. And it's really a balance because Black Friday, that was our first Black Friday, and I didn't know I was stressed out until my body was telling me, "Bro, you stressed out." So, you you need to, yeah. So I'm like, I'm not trying to go back into that space because I wasn't eating, I wasn't
Yeah.
sleeping, I had headaches. It was just crazy. So,
Mhm.
being more self-aware of my body and paying attention to it helps me to, really understand like you need to chill out and take some time for yourself. Check in on your family members. They're 3,000 miles away. I make sure that I FaceTime my nephews all the time, my nieces, my grandmother, check in with her, my mom, everyone else, my close friends, because that stuff is important, and that I value that more than anything. My family and my close friends, the one that has been there with me from day one, I can care
Mm-hmm.
less about a company, Hollywood, or anything. So, I
Period.
definitely make time for that too. Yeah.
Understood. I like that. That's very brilliant. Very brilliant.
Thank you.
So, of course. And what would you say is one of the greatest lessons that you've learned on your journey?
The greatest lesson I've learned uh, is really that God is here. Like God is real.
Yeah.
It took for me to understand that when I moved here. Like I knew who Jesus was, I heard about him, but you
Mhm.
have to see who he is for yourself. And
Absolutely.
I really began to see him move when I moved to Los Angeles because I didn't have nobody here really. I had a small network at the NFL, professionals, but we weren't that tight to where if I called them, I need to sleep on your couch. Can I
Yeah.
do that? I didn't have that. So I literally moved here with a little bit over $1,000 that was supposed to last me for a month. And now I'm going on 3 years of living here. And I'm like, there's nobody but God. And,
Yeah.
the lesson that I had to learn was to really just put my focus and my trust in Him because that's all I have really out here. I have, some small friends now, and my network has grown so much. But I know none of that would have happened if it wasn't for God really just being my advocate, being in my ear, telling me what to say, what not to say, who to connect with,
Yeah.
who to stay away from, and all of those things. And my faith has grown so much over the course of these 3 years in a way I could have
Mhm.
never really imagined. So, making sure that I have that trust and that my faith is grounded, and being intentional about it was the biggest lesson that I've learned so far.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love it. So, on the contrary, what would you say has been your greatest triumph to this day?
uh, well, right now, because of this pandemic, Hollywood is closed. So, trying to think of creative ways to keep money in my pocket, to keep paying rent on time so we don't get evicted. LA, we're getting off of lockdown now. I'm still having meetings with these projects that I'm potentially selling, looking really well. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some good stuff going with these projects for this year. But I think we all have the same struggle right now as far as like we don't know what tomorrow may bring. We're all in the same thing together, and I kind of find comfort in that, as well. It's like I'm not the only one out here struggling. It is what it is. We're gonna have to figure it out regardless. We're gonna figure it out. That's what we're built and designed to do. Especially
Yeah.
as entrepreneurs and creators, we figure things out, and we're used to our backs being against the wall. And that's where I perform my best is when I'm under pressure. So, continuously to learn, understanding that yesterday is not going to be today, so I can't show up the same way I did yesterday because today is a different day, and really just
Yeah.
continue to fight forward.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. That's a beautiful mindset to have. And
Thank you.
so, um, what would you tell aspiring entrepreneurs who are trying to create their own business, especially in this pandemic? What advice would you give them?
I would say be authentic. Kind of touched on that earlier today. Find out
Mhm.
what works for you, and really just have something to offer. Be unique, bring your full self, and also understand that everything isn't going to take off right away. Don't compare your month one to somebody else's year seven because they've been in the game a lot longer. They have the experience, they have the knowledge, and so understanding that, just trust your process, and
Yeah.
understand also that everything once you lay down a foundation, once you get started, everything needed to sustain it is going to make its way to you organically.
Mhm.
That's just how this thing works. But it's never
Yeah.
going to happen if you don't take the first step to get started. So again, use what you have right now to get started, and just make that
Mhm.
first step and make the thing happen. So
I love it. Absolutely, I agree. And King Cat 71 asks, is it Emir or Amir? See, I messed up. That was my it is Emir, right?
yes, yes, EMIR.
Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. And so I know you have all of these many ventures that you're into. So do you have any upcoming projects that we should know about?
I do, but I can't really share it honestly.
I figured it was gonna be like
Honest,
that.
yeah.
I
I do. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it. But there is something very, exciting that's in my pipeline right now. I can't share it right now though. I can't.
I
Yeah.
completely understand. Where can you?
Yeah, so my personal page is at Mr. Horton underscore MRHORTON underscore. I'm on Facebook. I just made a Facebook post earlier today about how I'm gonna try to be on Facebook more because I usually just post and get off. I don't really go back to the comments and look at stuff. So I'm trying to do better with Facebook. And then Eartha Watches, our Instagram is at Eartha Watch on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and then we also have a YouTube video where we'll be dropping more of our, promotional content, some of the things that we're doing in our community. We be feeding the homeless out here, uh,
Yes.
paying like for Christmas. We took a single father who actually just came out of homelessness, living in a shelter, couldn't really afford to get his daughter things for Christmas. So we took him to Target, spent close to $1,000 to get something for his daughter and make sure she had a a dope Christmas. So those are the type of content that we're going to be posting on our YouTube channel for folks to really see. Like when you support Eartha Watches, you're not
Right.
just buying a watch. Like we are really trying to connect time to the mission, which is our slogan, by
Mhm.
being of leadership and being of service to our community. So that's how you can
Yeah.
find us and really just catch up and check in with us.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being able to do this interview with us. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to be able to talk with you.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this. This was cool. I appreciate everyone at Purposely Awakened for having me on the platform. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the other creators and entrepreneurs who continue to shine their light on the platform as well. So thank you. It's been an honor.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we wish you all the best of luck on your future ventures.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll stay in touch too.
Yes, absolutely. You have a wonderful night.
All right, you too.
All right, bye bye.